Many GPU models right now are actually below their MSRP. We're seeing that for certain models of the 5060 Ti 16 gigabyte, the 9060 XT 16 gigabyte, the 5070 is well below MSRP, even the 9070 XT, well, it's actually finally at its MSRP, which it hadn't been for a long time. The 5070 Ti is actually below its MSRP right now, and yet that is all about to change, where we're seeing signs that GPU manufacturers are about to raise prices, and then that will trickle down into what we will see in stores. And there's actually no sign that they will come back down anytime soon. I'll tell you where we're getting this information, but first, so many people are making a huge mistake on their PC build by not thinking enough about the monitor that you will actually be viewing all of the content on. And the good news is that while much of the PC hardware space has stagnated like GPUs, and don't get me started on RAM prices right now, the monitor space has been incredibly exciting, with high-end specs and features that used to cost thousands just a few years ago, now available at extremely affordable pricing. KTC is leading that charge with their mission of offering monitors with better specs than competitors at the same price, or same specs at a better price. Either way, the consumer wins, and a huge thanks to KTC for sponsoring this part of today's video. For example, check out the H27 T22C3. Its 1440p resolution is the perfectly balanced sweet spot between fast performance and high resolution, and its 200Hz 210 with OC at fast IPS panel hits 131% of sRGB. It's perfect no matter what style of game you play, with FreeSync and G-Sync compatibility smoothing out frame times in the biggest AAA graphical showcases, and the 27-inch size offering incredible immersion. While its 1 millisecond response time and high refresh rate will never be the reason you miss the shot in the sweatiest of multiplayer matches. While many competitors at the price point fail to offer nice-to-have features like an adjustable stand, built-in 2-watt speakers, headphone jack, and flexible connectivity options, this KTC display always delivers. Seriously, the value on offer here is almost hard to believe, but there really is no catch. KTC has actually been the manufacturer behind some of the top displays from the biggest brands for many years. But starting in 2021, they've been offering their own gaming monitors to consumers directly under their own KTC branding to enable trend-setting leap-forward technologies in never-before-seen price segments. I've been using KTC displays in my home and classroom daily for over a year now, and I love them. My wife has actually claimed this one for her classroom. Check the link in the video description and/or pinned comment to get the perfect KTC display for your needs now. So what is our source for the information that GPU prices are going up? Well, the most concrete information we have is just the fact that RAM prices are going through the roof, but we're starting to see AMD specifically telling board partners that pricing will be increased. So let's take a look at this source here from Board Channels, and more thoughts on that source in a second. What are they saying? So AMD internally notified that a second price increase for GPUs is imminent. AMD's GPU series already saw a price increase around October, but the increase was not significant and therefore not reflected in the cost of AMD cards. However, AMD recently announced internally that due to rising memory costs, a second price increase will be implemented, although the specific implementation time has not yet been officially announced. AMD has confirmed that due to a substantial increase in memory procurement prices, the next shipment price for GPUs and memory will increase, with a larger increase potentially affecting all models. The specific amount and implementation time are not yet confirmed. So, obviously, this is not some kind of official statement publicly from AMD. Board Channels is a kind of a forum where people within the board partner ecosystem can discuss what they're seeing within that space. And that's where we're seeing this. So if you're unaware, when you're looking at a GPU, so for example, if I flip over to like this Power Color Reaper from AMD, notice that it's a Power Color Reaper AMD RX 9060 XT. So AMD makes the actual GPU chip that is being used here, which was what makes it a 9060 XT, and they sell that to board manufacturers who actually put together the physical card that goes into your computer, the PCB, the cooler on it, all of that, and they put on their branding. So like Power Color is putting together this stuff, but they are buying the GPU and also the memory from AMD as a package. Now, in the NVIDIA space, this works the same way. So like this MSI Ventus GeForce RTX 5060 Ti, again, NVIDIA is selling them the 5060 Ti GPU along with the GDR7 memory that goes with it, and then MSI is putting it on the board and with the cooler, etc. So that's the way that process works. So if AMD and or NVIDIA start to charge more for that GPU and RAM package, in the end, when you buy your card from someone like MSI or PowerColor or whoever, those prices will now be passed on to the consumer because nobody's going to be able to take a hit on the margins, especially not the actual board manufacturers, because their margins are extremely narrow. Now, AMD and NVIDIA have much larger margins, but they're not going to take a hit to their margins because they could just sell the silicon for AI use at a high markup anyway. So they're not going to take a hit to their margins. So in the end, this means that the end customer will pay more. Now, should we trust this kind of source at board channels? Well, we don't have, like I said, it's not the same thing as a public announcement, but this seems incredibly reasonable and is what you would be expecting to happen behind the scenes anyway. This is just now saying that, people within this space are saying that AMD has actually told board manufacturers that this is incoming. Now, when would you end up seeing this in stores? Well, again, so AMD and NVIDIA are going to sell the next batch of, GPUs and memory to the board manufacturers at a marked up price. And then those boards get manufactured, then shipped out to stores, etc. Then price increases from that. Now, that entire process has some lag time. So we're not going to see prices go up like immediately, but they're going to start going up as those shipments come through, which is why I really think that right now, you probably either want to what you really need to do right now is decide, are you planning on upgrading your graphics card anytime soon? I mean, within the next 6 months or so, because I would be shocked if prices get better than they are now within the next 6 months, unless we happen to see like actual Black Friday flash sales. But remember, right now we're seeing a lot of sales that are essentially Black Friday sales that just aren't waiting for Black Friday. So, other than that, as these shipments that are already in stores are starting to sell out, we would expect them to go up, and pretty considerably. I mean, what we've seen happen to RAM prices is actually insane. Like if I go to PC Part Picker, where they track pricing history over time, and we just click on some of the more popular modules that pop up when I click on RAM, if I just open up a bunch of these in separate tabs, I haven't looked at this ahead of time, but I already know what I'm going to see. If I now click on some of these and scroll down to the pricing history, look how bad this is. Since July, this particular model has shot up from, looks like you could get a Newegg for $95. Looks like it may have been as low as $93. And now the lowest price available is well over $200. So basically doubled on the RAM price here. And if we look at any other modules that I'm clicking on here, we're seeing the same thing. We're going from like $85 up to $255. It's absolutely insane. This is what's happening to memory prices. Again, just going up through the roof on memory prices across the board. So these are RAM sticks, which are completely and directly affected by RAM pricing going up. Now, GPUs wouldn't be expected to see the same level of increase where we're seeing the actual pricing double, since the memory price is only part of the price of the actual GPU. But the prices are likely to be going up. So again, we don't know when this will go down, because all of this is being driven by AI data centers buying up all of the memory. And so then the production, even if, the data center is doing like HBM memory, which isn't quite the same thing, it's produced at the same factories. So those factories have to, determine how much of their production goes to what. So basically, all types of RAM and even SSDs and everything like that are going to be getting more expensive as the supply and demand goes out of whack due to that data center demand. Now, we haven't seen this exact thing happen before with AI data centers specifically gobbling up all the RAM, but we've seen, GPU pricing go insane due to like crypto boom, things like that in the past. And it usually comes back down, but it can take a while. It can be sometimes a year or more. And again, AI is kind of a new thing. We've got to see exactly how this plays out. If the AI bubble pops, at some point we'll see this go down, or if the AI bubble isn't popping, we can see that the manufacturers could just spin up more factory lines for all the different memory types, etc. But like I said, this is generally months, if not years, of prices going up before they really kind of stabilize. So what I'm really getting at is the Black Friday sales we have going on right now are probably your best shot at decent GPU pricing for at least a number of months and potentially years. We don't know for sure. Now, I'm not saying everybody needs to run out and buy a new GPU right now. I'm just saying if you've been thinking about it and your current GPU isn't very good, and the GPUs that are in your price range right now, if you have the money right now, would get you a significant upgrade. Again, not maybe your worst time to buy, potentially the best time to buy, because prices are the lowest they've been this generation. And like I said, a lot of like the Black Friday type pricing is here right now. So for example, if you were going to buy right now, the 9060 XT 16 gigabyte is a pretty good option. This is available at $350 right now. That's really just its MSRP pricing. But I would say for somebody looking for a solid upgrade that's going to last you for several years, maybe hold out until hopefully pricing gets not so crazy anymore. This is not at all a bad choice. We're going to play all of the latest games at 1080p and 1440p at pretty reasonable graphic settings. If you prefer the NVIDIA options, the 5060 Ti 16 gigabyte version, I would steer you towards the 16 gigabyte version, is available at Newegg right now below MSRP at $420, and there's even a $20 rebate available. That can be a bit of a hassle, but if you do eventually factor that in, $400, so either a $50 or $70 price premium for the NVIDIA option here. But I think, you do get access to the better, NVIDIA ecosystem. AMD's upscaling and things like that have improved a lot in this latest generation, though. Their ray tracing has as well, though. So I really think buying anything 9060 XT 16 gigabyte or above is going to be a pretty good situation to be in for 1080p or 1440p gaming. Both of these are great choices for most people. That being said, if you have even more in your budget, the 5070, well, it's only 12 gigabytes of VRAM, which isn't amazing. It's still fine for even max settings at 1080p and 1440p in the vast majority of games, with a few titles where you'll have to turn down like one or two strategically chosen graphic settings to stay within that 12 gigabyte VRAM buffer. And it's currently well below its MSRP. MSRP is $550. We're seeing $489 here. And if you were waiting for like the super versions, the latest rumors, which I've reported out in previous videos, is that NVIDIA might be canceling or at least severely delaying and kind of seeing how this memory pricing goes before releasing super models with more VRAM, because the VRAM pricing is likely to make them not feasible at the kind of prices people would want to see. If you have above a $500 budget, currently the 9070 XT from AMD gets you back to 16 gigabytes of VRAM. It is noticeably faster than the 5070 in everything besides path tracing, and is currently available at $600. That being said, if you prefer the NVIDIA feature set with about this level of performance and stronger path tracing performance, the 5070 Ti is currently available as low as $700, which is $50 below its MSRP. It's been pretty hard to find 5070 Ti's below their MSRP. Now, past this point, 5080s, 5090s, severely diminishing returns on the performance per dollar there. So anyway, basically, this is where we're at. If you want to buy a graphics card upgrade within the next several months, these prices are either better than what we've seen so far this generation, or at least matching the all-time lows I've seen for the generation. And there's no reason to believe they're going to get better anytime soon. And there's a lot of reason to believe they're going to get worse. So I don't want to be like sounding like I'm pushing you buy a GPU when you don't need one. If you don't need a GPU upgrade right now, then, I'm sure that within several years, at least, things will settle down. Maybe they'll settle down in 6 months. Maybe they'll settle down in a year. Maybe they don't even end up skyrocketing, but I certainly doubt that they're going to get better. And like I said, What we've been seeing based on RAM pricing is things are going crazy. This is starting to hit VRAM. It's going to increase on VRAM. And like I said, the behind the scenes rumors are AMD directly telling board partners prices will increase. And board partners don't have enough of a profit margin to do anything other than pass that on to you at the retail store once all of this comes through. So that's where we're at. Now, like I said, pricing on monitors has actually been pretty good, so you can check out the sponsored link in the video description. Also include links to these GPUs. Now, I do have an affiliate relationship with Amazon, so this one will be an affiliate one where I can get a small cut at no additional cost to you, but these other ones like Newegg and Walmart and stuff, I don't have any kind of affiliate deal. I'm just bringing the information to you that these are the lowest price models of those cards that I can find right now. Anyway, like I said, you don't have to rush out and buy a new GPU if you don't need one. But if you do need one, or you think you'll need one within the next few months, yeah, I don't know, guys. I would personally, it's hard to predict the future, but I don't see things getting better. I see them getting worse, at least for a while. Nobody can tell for sure for how long. Hope all of you still manage to have an excellent day.